The final week before hometowns saw Grant Ellis travel to Scotland to continue looking for a wife. "I have huge decisions to make this week," Grant, 31, said in the February 24 episode of The Bachelor. "It's going to be difficult." Host Jess Palmer revealed at the beginning of the episode that Grant wouldn't be giving out any date roses in Edinburgh, but there would be 2 one-on-ones and 1 group date for the remaining 7 women. First one-on-one. Juliana scored the first one-on-one, which saw her and Grant travel by helicopter to a castle. When they arrived, their royal valet, Callum, informed the couple they'd be treated to a regal experience. That began with stylist Vixie Ray helping Juliana, 28, and Grant pick out outfits. The day trader tried on a kilt before selecting a traditional suit. Juliana opted for a pink gown. From there, they went to a Bridgerton-style ball. "I just feel like literally a princess," Juliana said in an on-camera interview. Over dinner, Juliana opened up to Grant about someone really close to me having a problem with addiction. "For a while in my life, I was alone," Juliana told Grant. "I didn't know how to cope with negativity and emotions of anger and confusion." Juliana thought it affected her demeanor today. "I come off so happy all the time because I'm really afraid of the darkness that I saw and I'm afraid of going back there," the client service associate said. Grant then shared his experience with his dad's addiction. "That always makes me touchy talking about my pops, because, yeah, it's like, even as much as he's hurt me, I'm still there for him," Grant said to Juliana. The reality star then showed Juliana his lone wolf tattoo, which he explained he got because "I've handled things alone a lot of my life too." "It's rare that 2 people meet and have very similarly stories," Grant told the cameras. "I was trying to let her know that I'm in it all the way with her because our connection is so special." Juliana felt the connection too. "It feels like I could be falling in love with you," she said to Grant. Grant thought Juliana could be his future wife. "She's exactly what I'm looking for," he said in an on-camera interview. Group date. Alex, Carolina, Dina, Serafina, and Zoe went on the group date, but Carolina wanted nothing to do with it. She sat by herself while Grant and the rest of the women partook in Scottish games, and when Grant noticed, he went over to check in with the public relations producer, 28. "It's been hard," Carolina said to Grant. "I don't want to keep talking about it." Carolina started crying, and Grant asked her why she hadn't been enjoying her experience on the show. "I feel like you have stronger connections, and it's hard for me to be here feeling like it's so obvious that it's not going to be me," Carolina said. Grant told Carolina she was one of my strongest connections, but then things started happening that put a damper on their relationship. "I'm so tired of going in circles," Carolina said. Grant explained that because of his past with his dad, he wanted a partner he could rely on. "I want to have a relationship in my life where I trust my partner and they're able to trust me through every circumstance," the former basketball pro said, urging Carolina to move forward. It started to rain, so then Grant, Carolina, and the rest of the women headed inside, and the rest of the group didn't like that Carolina monopolized a lot of the Bachelor's time. "We saw that one girl got more attention, someone who's already gotten a lot of attention, so it's just really tough for me to see all of that and just continue to question where you're at," Zoe, 27, said to Grant at the after-party. Zoe lamented being the only remaining woman not to have received a one-on-one date with Grant. "I do feel bad that you haven't had one-on-one time yet, but I will say all it takes is one conversation," he reassured the tech engineer and model. Zoe felt good about that, but some of the other women did not like Carolina's approach. Dina, 31, told Carolina she comes off ungrateful for not wanting to go on group dates. "You don't care about anybody else's feelings but your own," Dina continued. Carolina didn't want to preserve her castmates' feelings. "I guess I'm crazy evil," she said before leaving to talk to Grant. To the cameras, Carolina added, "I don't feel bad about anything." Dina wanted to use her time with Grant to warn him about Carolina. "There are people here for you, and there are other people here who are just thinking about themselves and are not necessarily willing to take accountability for the things that they do," she said to Grant. Grant knew what Dina meant. "I really wanted to see the best in her, and then towards the end of the week I'm like, oh, I see why everyone has to say what they have to say," the attorney continued. "And here I am the next week, and I've seen things that I've needed to see. And it just takes time sometimes." Grant admitted that Dina's perspective surprised him. "I've had too many women talk about Carolina, and at some point I'm questioning, is it her?" Grant wondered to the cameras. Sika and one-on-one. Grant ended his week in Scotland by exploring Edinburgh with Licia. They tried some whiskey, Grant attempted to play the bagpipes, and then he and Licia, 31, stopped to chat with two women knitting. "You see wedding bells in the future?" one of the knitters asked. Grant replied, "Yeah, I definitely think that she's somebody who I could see as my wife and, spending every day with and being happy." From there, the knitter showed Grant and Licia a Celtic marriage tradition of tying the knot, in which a couple wraps a ribbon or cloth around their hands and ties it into a knot. "We tied the knot," Grant declared afterwards. "Me and Grant tied the knot today so everyone can pack it up," Licia told the cameras. "Thanks for playing." Later, Grant and Licia sat down at a banquet table for dinner, and the venture capitalist informed him that she's a Mormon and never dated outside of her religion. "It completely shaped the kind of family that I want to raise my kids in," Licia said to Grant. "And I want God to be a part of my marriage." Grant explained that he didn't think religion had to have a bunch of rules, but he called God a cornerstone of his life. Grant also shared that he wants his family to eat dinner together every night because he would often eat alone. "When I was alone, I would just talk to God," the Bachelor alum said as he started crying. Grant and Licia ended the night dancing to a private Amile Sande performance. Rose ceremony. Just before Grant could hand out roses, Carolina pulled Dinah to talk. "I still don't really understand where our friendship went south," Carolina said to Dina. Dina explained to Carolina that it's hard to talk to you sometimes in groups. "Even if I've meant well, I've messed up and I'm not perfect, and I'm never gonna be," Carolina said. "But I'm here to listen, and I just want us to be good." The Bachelor. Grant's rose ceremony is halted when one woman asks to pull another aside moments before his decision. Exclusive. "Me too," Dina concurred. They apologized and exchanged "I love yous" before returning to the rose ceremony. At the ceremony, Grant gave out roses to Dina, Juliana, Licia, and Zoe, meaning Alex, Carolina, and Serafina would not be proceeding to hometowns.